New York City was always alive with lights and energy, but one night something strange happened. The street lights started flickering, buildings went dark, and people looked around in confusion. It wasn't just a power outage. Something far more dangerous was happening. Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, watched from the rooftop of a tall building. His spider senses tingled, warning him of an approaching threat. He pulled his mask down and prepared for action. "This isn't normal," he muttered. "Something or someone is behind this. A new villain appears." As he swung through the dark streets, he noticed an unusual figure standing on top of a skyscraper. The figure was tall, cloaked in shadows, and seemed to absorb any light around it. Spider-Man landed on a nearby building and called out, "Hey buddy, I don't think the city enjoys your blackout." The figure turned, revealing glowing red eyes. "I am the Black Shadow, and soon this city will belong to darkness." His voice was deep and echoed through the empty streets. Without warning, Black Shadow extended his hands, and the darkness around him expanded. A wave of pure black energy rushed towards Spider-Man. He jumped just in time, dodging the attack, and shooting a web to swing away. But even in the air, he felt the darkness pulling at him, making him weaker. Fighting in the dark, Spider-Man knew he couldn't rely on his eyes. The city was now almost completely covered in darkness, so he had to trust his spider senses. He landed silently and listened carefully. Black Shadow was moving fast, shifting through the shadows and attacking from unexpected angles. Spider-Man tried to counter with his webs, but they didn't stick to the villain. The darkness seemed to swallow them completely. "Okay, new plan," he thought. "If I can't trap him, need to weaken him." He remembered something from his science class. Darkness can't exist without light. If he could find a way to surround Black Shadow with intense light, he could take away his power. The brilliant plan. Spider-Man swung toward Times Square, where giant billboards and streetlights usually lit up the night. But everything was still dark. He had an idea. He shot a web at a nearby power station and pulled himself onto the control panel. With a quick adjustment, he rerouted the emergency backup power, sending a surge of energy to the city's biggest screens. Suddenly, Times Square exploded with bright light. Neon signs flickered back on massive billboards glowed, and the entire area became the brightest spot in the city. The moment light touched Black Shadow, he screamed in pain, and his dark form began to fade. Spider-Man wasted no time. He shot reinforced webs at the villain, trapping him in place. The more light that surrounded him, the weaker he became, until finally he collapsed, defeated. Victory and a promise. As the city lights returned, Spider-Man secured Black Shadow. As the police arrived, cheering filled the streets. On a rooftop, he smiled at the skyline. Darkness will never win. Then, he swung into the night, ready for his next adventure.